that would compel me, someone who doesn't like horror movies. And so that's what Digging to Death is essentially the best that I could do for that with the budget that I had, you know.
Yeah, I mean, how was it working with the actors on the set? And was it kind of fun to kind of work with them, on the set, and especially considering kind of the genre you're working in?
Yeah, I actually so I've actually worked on some bigger shows like I did some acting in Hail Caesar with the Coen brothers. I did a little bit of acting with A Marriage Story with Noah Baumbach, and those sets.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
No problem.
Okay. We back?
Yeah. So I was just saying, so I've been on some big sets with, the Coen brothers, with Noah Baumbach, and those sets are silent. It's very silent. It's not like a traditional indie set where everyone's just sort of bumbling around. It's just everyone's just quiet. So I made sure that, I hate to say this because like I don't want to be one of those directors that has these weird rules, but I like to keep it quiet. And I like to be very intimate with my talent. With talent of high caliber, if you're doing a third take, you better have a damn good reason, like it just, like that's like a third take of the same angle or the same shot, like once you got it, if you got it, get a safety just in case there's something you didn't see. And if something happens in the safety where you need the third take, you got to literally communicate. You have to say, hey, we got to do a third take because I didn't like this, or we need to fix this. But if you're just like, oh yeah, let's just do one more, it's disrespectful. You got to move on. You got to keep going. And if you got it, you got it. So it's just, I like to be like that. And I think the actors that I employed for this movie were grateful for that, and just like that intimacy. So it was cool. I liked working with them.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting because I just got, my film it just premiered a couple weeks ago. We're still working on some post-production stuff to actually get somewhat distributed to to different areas right now, and trying to figure out distribution kind of network. But when I was working with the actors, sometimes they would get it on the first take, and I would do a second take, obviously for safety. But I would do 1 or 2 more takes just because I wanted to see something a little bit different, just in case I wanted to see a different performance. I mean, it's not anything against their performances at all, but I just wanted to make sure there's sometimes when I get a good enough actor, it might be nice to have a couple of different ways to kind of form a scene. So kind of interesting that your take is to hurry up and get that, second, if not a third take, and then just go. I know it was a lot more shotgun.
Yeah. And it's like, when you have the time, I think, yes, you should absolutely milk it, especially if you're paying $100,000 for somebody to be there, you should absolutely milk it. But, for me, like when I write scripts, I write like shots and shit into my scripts sometimes. So like people hate it. Like, I get a lot of criticism for it, but people, like I just want to describe, I want to communicate what I see in my head. And because I have such a strong visual in my head, I communicate that in the script as well as verbally to my talent. So they kind of know really what I want to move on to the next piece. So it's like, if they can give me what I want, I do appreciate seeing, what else they can do. But if you're doing like 8 to 10 pages in a day, like sometimes it is boom, boom, boom. But, again, if you're paying big money, you're doing 2-page days, 3-page days tops. So you can kind of finesse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the I call it the rich man, poor man of production. If you're on a very shoestring budget like I was, I had the time to be able to do it. But if you have, a large screen budget, you can have more than one take. But if you have a budget that's very limited in terms of, it's good enough that, you're going to have, you're going to have some quality people on there, and it's going to cost you money as much as you possibly can to have people there, then yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of have to almost run and gun a little bit onto that set. So absolutely understand that as well. Business on the business end of things as well. So it's great. How long did it take for you to get Digging to Death done? I mean, how long was the shoot?
So the shoot ended up being all in, including pickup, 15 days, which was pretty, again, run and gun. And then we had some demons in post, honestly. The first editor that I hired was just very lackadaisical. He had his assistant editor like organize all the footage, but then that guy that organized all of the footage like didn't do anything with B-cam. So all of my gimbal stuff was left out of the original cut of the first cut. And I was like, there's so many shots that are missing. And it's like, some of these shots are in the script. So I had to fire that guy. Then it took me a minute took me another 6 or 7 months to find someone that I really wanted to cut this thing. And I found Amir, and he hooked it up, but it took him a minute just because of some issues with some other things. And then, yeah, so finally, like after 2.5 years, it sold, and then it, premiered, like 10 months after it sold domestically is when 10 months after it released. So
yeah, 15 days is relatively short. And I mean, obviously having one location probably helped you a little bit too, considering that, I'd say one location, you probably had several locations, but main location was just one place. So that probably helped out a lot too.
Yeah. What did you think? What did you think of the flick?
I did not get an opportunity to watch it yet. I watched the trailer. So I was able to watch some of the shots and some of the stuff that you did there. So I need to catch up and watch the movie this weekend. So I'll have to get my popcorn down and be able to watch it.
Yeah. I think you'll dig it. Just knowing what you know now, and that I'm very story driven.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a really great premise. I mean, to have this corpse that had right next to $3 million. And then the whole thing comes about as well. The person that you cast for the main antagonist, though, I mean, he did a really great job. I mean, how did you find him?
So so Tom Fitzpatrick was actually the Bride in Black in the Insidious series. If you ever saw Insidious 2 or Insidious 3, he was in both of those, and as one of the evil characters. And I randomly just worked with him on a shoot like back in 2017, I think, like a year prior, where he played just like a creepy guy, and I was a DP on it, and it was a great little short film, but he just did this great job as just this creepy old man, and it was like a horror kind of thing. And so I was like, man, that would be great. He's like this sweet old guy, but like when he puts on the makeup, he just becomes this terrorizer. And it was great that he agreed to do it. Honestly, it was cool.
Yeah, movement also has a lot to do with that too. Just the way that he moves, it says a lot. So yeah, he did an absolute fabulous job with that. There's no question. There's a reason why he's always casting roles like that. But it's great to be able to see that as well. So Devil Comes to Casey, where like I said, we're in kind of post production there, and you're going to do some more shoots with that. So are we expecting 2022 maybe for release?
Yeah, I'm hoping 2022. We'll get our pickup shots here in about a week for our intro, and then I ended up writing a new character in, which I hate to do, and I really don't like when that's done, like kind of after the fact. But I feel like as I was watching it, I was like, there's a couple little scenes that I needed for exposition for one of the characters. So we're going to do those here in about a month. with a celebrity that I can't really name right now, but I can tell you it hasn't been announced yet officially, but Kirk Fox is playing our devil, which is super rad. But it'll get a whole announcement like the Hollywood Reporter deadline kind of thing eventually, I'm sure. But yeah, so it'll be cool working with him next week and getting all that done. So it's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean that's great. I mean, it's great to kind of get some rub there a little bit in terms of your marketing as well. Anything else coming up for you?
Other than that, I've got a feature that I'm producing called High Desert. I got a kids TV show that I'm producing right before High Desert called Homeschool History. And then after that, I got to go to New York for a short film in Buffalo. So it's going to be kind of crazy until the end of the year.
Yeah, so really look forward to a bunch of the stuff that's going on. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I think my big thing is Instagram. I'm at Blevfilm _LA. So BLEVFILM _LA. And yeah, give me a follow there. I'm not on Twitter or really anything, and I keep my Facebook pretty private. So yeah, follow me on Instagram or Google me, I guess.
Yeah, Digging to Death can be found pretty much wherever you get your movies. So definitely just get it for a rental. I will make sure to get a rental of it this weekend as well. Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll hopefully get you back on when Devil Comes to KC comes out next year.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, I would love to. I'd love to talk about it.
You guys can listen to Somewhere in Vegas on all your podcast catchers, including iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, and our home here at Spreaker.com. You guys can check us out on social media at SWIV, and Somewhere in Vegas on Facebook. You guys can also check us out on Instagram at SWIV Podcast. That's at SWIV Podcast. We'll hopefully have some more podcasts coming up. Sorry for the delay for the past month. Things have been kind of crazy, but we'll be back doing regular podcasts up shortly. We've got a bunch of guests lined up for you guys, so definitely subscribe to us on all your podcast catchers. And thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on Somewhere in Vegas.